Did Blake Lively have Armie Hammer fired from Gossip Girl?
I wish I could take all of my passes back and use them all right now.
You worked with Blake Lively. You were on Gossip Girl for 4 episodes.
I was, yeah.
Did she fire you? Did you get fired? What happened? Why did you leave after 4? You're so handsome.
Listen,
you were like,
dude, listen.
You played
Here's
a
my
douchebag
official
millionaire.
Here's my official take on the whole thing that's going on, is that there is another fight going on that I'm not involved in and I have not been dragged into, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Right.
I've got enough of my own problems before throwing my hat into someone else's ring. Like, I'm good.
Let me just say, that was a tough show to film, and I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was such a tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, get me out of this.
It was also like, get him out of here.
Hollywood sweetheart Blake Lively just found herself at the center of an explosive scandal, one that no one saw coming. In a moment that left audiences speechless, disgraced actor Armie Hammer took to live television and launched a shocking tirade against her, making allegations so damning that they instantly dominated social media. This wasn't just an ordinary Hollywood feud, this was a full-scale public takedown that could forever change the way the world views Blake Lively. But what exactly happened? And why would Armie Hammer, whose own reputation has been in shambles, choose this moment to attack her?
You have a light blue, powder blue sweater, and you're having some Chardonnay.
I was actually also in acting class with Justin Baldoni when I was 19 years old.
Really?
20 years old. Yeah, I mean, this is almost 20 years ago now.
Did you hang out in between scenes? Did you work lines together?
Yeah, we did like some scenes together, I'm sure. Yeah, he seemed like a great guy. I mean, I didn't really know him that well.
He was nice.
Listen, bro, you're not dragging me into this. I'm not getting involved.
No?
That drama is their drama.
Sure?
I want nothing to do with it.
Are you sure, Hammer?
Oh, I don't want that smoke at all.
No? But you got a kissing scene with her. Was she a good kisser? You can say that.
I don't even remember, dude. I don't even remember.
You don't?
I wouldn't say if I did. I'm not getting involved. This is not my fight.
Hammer. We got a
Listen,
whole.
I have had
the
enough.
Greek chorus in here. They don't believe it.
I have had enough trial by media fire in my life. I'm good.
Once upon a time, Armie Hammer was considered Hollywood royalty. With roles in acclaimed films like Call Me By Your Name and The Social Network, he was on the path to becoming one of the industry's biggest stars. However, his career took a drastic and scandalous nosedive after disturbing allegations about his personal life surfaced, painting him as one of Hollywood's most controversial figures. Since then, he has largely stayed out of the spotlight, occasionally making brief appearances, but never fully addressing the accusations against him.
Let me tell you about the time that I met one Mr. Armie Hammer. It was in 2023 via my best friend, mutuals, and he introduced me because he knew what a Gossip Girl fan I was. Obviously, Armie was in season 2 of Gossip Girl. He played Gabriel, if you remember. So I walked into the house, and there he is sitting. I was aghast because not only is he so stunningly beautiful in person, he was so warm and welcoming, and he looked at, you know those people that just look at you and like, there's a bunch of people in the room, but you're the only person that exists, like they go directly to you. He's like that. He makes you feel like you're the only person who exists in the room. Gave me the time of day, was so warm, was so kind. I didn't bring up Gossip Girl because I was so like gaga, but he's just like a human being, a normal human being. Now, I'm not here to talk about the allegations of what went down with all those girlies, etc. I'm here to talk about what went down between Blake Lively and him on Gossip Girl, because he just said in that clip by Watch What Happens Live with Andy and Chelsea that Blake Lively got him fired. And I am so not here for people using their power and clout on a set to get another human being fired from a job unless you commit some type of egregious crime. And for what it sounds like, Armie didn't. He, via the rumblings and the blinds, just said Blake Lively's not a nice person, which now we know is true. I say all this to say, hi Armie, and second of all, justice. He must be sitting back somewhere, if he even cares anymore. I'm sure he's so far moved on from this.
That is, until now. During what was supposed to be a casual industry roundtable interview, the topic of past co-stars arose. The interviewer casually mentioned Blake Lively, perhaps expecting a nostalgic or light-hearted response. Instead, Armie's demeanor changed instantly. He smirked, leaned forward, and with an unsettling calmness declared, "Let's talk about Blake Lively, America's favorite hypocrite." The room fell silent. No one expected what came next.
Did Blake Lively have Armie Hammer fired from Gossip Girl? So Armie Hammer played Gabriel Edwards, who was Serena, Blake Lively's character, her love interest on Gossip Girl. Well, Armie Hammer was abruptly removed from the series after only completing 4 episodes in season 2. And he addresses this very briefly on an appearance on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live. Let's watch.
On Gossip Girl, who was the biggest diva on set?
Biggest diva on set of Gossip Girl.
You can say it because it's so far away from where you are now. That show's over. I suggest that you do not pass on another question.
By the way.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I wish I could take all of my passes back and use them all right
Really?
now. Yeah. Let me just say that was a tough show to film, and I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was such a tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, get me out of this.
It was also like, get him out of here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it just literally was that. Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively's love
You
interest.
were?
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Sounds like she was the problem.
It sure does, Chelsea.
No, that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly what I was thinking.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yeah. Because my foot is already there.
No, it is not.
Armie Hammer didn't hold back. His accusations against Blake were not only shocking, but also deeply personal. He claimed that Blake had played a key role in orchestrating his downfall, alleging that she had used her influence behind the scenes to blacklist him. According to Armie, Blake had always known about the allegations that would later surface against him, and instead of exposing him at the time, she chose to use the information for her own gain, ensuring she remained untouchable while quietly fueling the industry-wide backlash against him.
So while Armie Hammer doesn't directly confirm that Blake Lively had him fired, it was rumored that he called Lively a B word on the set, which ultimately ended up with him getting nixed. And this all comes from some messages that were posted to Dumois back in 2021 when Armie Hammer was at the height of his scandal. Oh no, what do you think? Did she get Armie Hammer fired? He only delivered on 4 episodes. He was supposed to do more. He seems very touchy about why this all went down.
He went on to claim that Blake Lively is nothing like the wholesome girl-next-door persona she presents to the public. Instead, he painted her as a ruthless Hollywood power player who carefully curates her public image while strategically eliminating those who stand in her way. One of the most jaw-dropping moments of the tirade was when he insinuated that Blake had even leveraged her marriage to Ryan Reynolds to control industry narratives, ensuring that those who wronged her found themselves struggling to secure work. The audience was left stunned, and within minutes, clips of the interview were circulating on every major social media platform. The Hollywood elite wasted no time reacting to Armie's bombshell claims. Almost immediately, industry insiders found themselves split into 2 camps. On one side, some former co-stars and crew members stepped forward to validate his accusations. An anonymous former Gossip Girl crew member described Blake as a master manipulator who was always focused on maintaining control of her public perception.
But watching Blake and Ryan and their reputations really taking a hit because of alleged behavior executed by these two, you know, the piper needs to be paid, as they say. By the way, just came out today via Variety. Just Some Melody demands Disney and Marvel preserve all documents relating to Ryan Reynolds and Nice Pool. We saw the Nice Pool clip of Ryan Reynolds seemingly is definitely, allegedly, but definitely mocking Just Some Melody, which is horrible.
Meanwhile, Blake's closest allies rushed to her defense. Actress Anna Kendrick was among the first to post in support of Blake, calling the accusations baseless and clearly an act of desperation.
Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick hit the red carpet of their new movie Another Simple Favor at South by Southwest, and Anna Kendrick is going viral for her reactions when asked what it was like working with Blake again and how Blake's drama has impacted this movie.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Talking about you. How does it feel like the movie's being impacted kind of by everything happening around, going on in the world?
Why, what happened? I did ayahuasca and the last year of my life is just gone, but I've heard the movie's amazing.
Wait, thank you.
Reports also surfaced that Ryan Reynolds was absolutely livid behind the scenes and had reportedly confronted some industry executives about the ordeal. However, the most curious reaction came from Blake herself. Silence. She didn't post a response, issue a statement, or even acknowledge the allegations. And in Hollywood, sometimes silence is the loudest response of all. This theory takes an even darker turn when considering Armie Hammer's shocking downfall in Hollywood. The actor, once a rising star, saw his career implode after disturbing allegations of cannibalistic fantasies, abuse, and manipulation surfaced in early 2021. Multiple women came forward, sharing horrifying messages and accounts of their experiences with him, revealing a pattern of psychological and physical coercion. Among them was his ex-girlfriend, Courtney Vucekovich, who spoke out about the trauma she endured during their relationship, claiming he expressed desires to eat parts of her body and exert total control over her.
I get to come over to your house with my bag of goodies, completely incapacitating you until I was done with you.
I'm here to talk about what happened in my relationship with Armie Hammer. Not only is he an actor, he was gorgeous and tall, and I was starting to fall for him. But something didn't feel right.
Once the sexual nature of the DMs started, it was all that he wanted to ever talk about.
And then he mentions the ropes. It's like the ropes were around your neck, your wrists, your ankles, behind your back. I had bruises. I hated it. We take a break.
But how does Blake Lively fit into this? If we rewind to the years before Armie's scandal, Hollywood insiders whisper that Lively had long harbored suspicions about him. While the two never shared a major screen credit, they moved within overlapping social circles, and some sources suggest that Blake had quietly distanced herself from Armie well before the allegations became public. Was she one of the early voices warning others about his disturbing behavior? And more importantly, did she have a hand in ensuring that his dark secrets would eventually come to light?
She is not innocent in any of this, without question. I really do think she's just a spoiled brat. Like, it just goes down to something that simple. She's a spoiled brat, and she's used to getting what she wants from a time that she was a kid. And this is what she wanted. And I do think that people have not pieced together, and I've been speaking about it, the Scarlett Johansson piece of this is also something. She's the one that walked away from Ryan. He has control issues, and she was working with Wayfarer on her directorial debut at this time that this movie was being shot. And lo and behold, what is Blake trying to do? She's trying to make Ryan scramble to get her directorial rights over this movie. Like they're in this weird competition. Yeah. Another piece of this, Scarlett Johansson was also shooting a movie with Channing Tatum. Out of nowhere, Ryan plucks Channing Tatum up out of obscurity and puts him in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, premiering as Gambit. And he did this whole thing thanking him. So there is a Scarlett Johansson element. There is a competitive element. And I do believe that Blake Lively put pressure on him because she's not that smart. She's not a brilliant actress, and she's not a Scarlett Johansson. And I think that, she suffers from that insecurity of wanting to feel like she belongs in the A-list club that Taylor Swift is in, and that her husband kind of isn't really in, but they now have a lot of A-list friends.
If the rumors about Blake's behind-the-scenes influence are true, it's not far-fetched to consider that Armie, in turn, had been nursing a deep resentment toward her for years. This wouldn't be the first time Hollywood power plays have played out in the shadows. His alleged grudge could stem from that 2010 Gossip Girl crossover debacle, but it may have evolved into something much more personal. If Blake did have a role in bringing his twisted truths to light, then his aggressive stance against her might be an act of revenge, his way of clawing back at someone he believes contributed to his downfall.
He's a big movie star. I'm not naive enough to think that I'm the only one.
I knew something about him would come up in the future because I know how careless he is.
He said things like he wanted to barbecue and eat her. And then this story blew wide open.
The Hammer name wielded a lot of prestige and power, but beneath it all was a dark world of deceit, betrayal, and corruption.
Very wealthy, privileged men got away with different bad things throughout these generations.
And it's what happened to Armie Hammer to a sick degree.
You just don't wake up and become this abuser. There has to be a seed that's planted. My name is Casey Hammer, and I'm about to reveal the dark, twisted secrets of the Hammer family.
Yet, there's another chilling possibility. What if Armie isn't just lashing out in bitterness, but actually trying to expose Hollywood's deep-seated hypocrisy? Many have pointed out that Hollywood has a long history of turning a blind eye to predatory behavior until it becomes too big to ignore. If Armie is taking aim at Blake, could he be hinting at something more? Is he suggesting that she or others like her have skeletons in their own closets that have yet to be exposed?
Armie Hammer's a really good guy. He's charming, he's nice, he's always been that way. Up or down. Hello, Hammer.
Don't tell anybody. I have a new reputation to protect here.
What is it?
Cannibal-ist. We're just going for it, dude.
Whoa! What does it feel like to say that, by the way?
It's funny for me now, in the sense that, like, look, are there things that probably could have stuck that didn't? Sure. But the thing that stuck is this very weird, bizarre thing, but it's also incredibly liberating.
The claims made by Armie Hammer are certainly explosive, but do they hold any weight? On one hand, his specific allegations and the quiet but growing number of industry figures who seem to support his statements suggest that there may be more to Blake's carefully maintained public persona than meets the eye. However, Armie himself has a credibility problem. Given his own deeply tarnished reputation, many are questioning whether this is simply a desperate attempt to regain relevance by dragging down a beloved star.
This is a win for Lively for sure. He did create an attorney's eyes only category to add to the model protective order, which is what she wanted. He narrowed down what fits into it. So he added the word highly and the word significant. So instead of just being able to designate something AEO because it is likely to cause competitive business injury or personal injury, it now has to be highly likely to cause significant business or personal injury. So it raises the level a little bit, but they can still designate whatever they want. He also left the burden on the people trying to lift the designation on the people who don't want it. So Friedman's burden shifting argument did not work.
Blake Lively has, for the most part, maintained a squeaky clean public image. Known for her witty social media presence, fashion-forward persona, and seemingly rock-solid marriage to Ryan Reynolds, she has never been caught up in any major Hollywood drama. But Hollywood is no stranger to carefully crafted facades. If there is any truth to Armie's claims, Blake's silence may not be about staying above the drama. It may be about damage control.
Armie Hammer didn't eat any people, but he did eat the heart of an animal. So he's on the Louis Theroux podcast, and basically Louis interviewing him and is like, hey, let's just go through all the things you've been accused of.
Are you a cannibal? You know what you have to do to actually be a cannibal? You have to actually eat human flesh.
Correct. Did you cut the heart out of the animal and eat it while still warm?
No, you don't eat the whole heart.
You didn't.
One of the
do that.
traditions is you take a bite out of the heart. It's sort of like a almost overly charged male rite of passage when you go hunting for your first time.
It's not weird when you think about it, though. What do you mean it's not weird? We eat animal flesh every day. An animal that's warm and you're eating its heart?
You're not going to eat it when it's cold.
So you did that?
Yeah. Not for the purpose of any cannibalism or any sexual gratification.
I get it's a hunting tradition, but if you're Armie Hammer, stop talking about this stuff, man. He's not a cannibal. It's just gross to do that.
People think it's gross how much oil you put on in the morning and no one's judging you.
Oh, Moroccan. I swim. So what does you swimming have to do with? Because it dries your skin out.
The impact of this scandal is far from over. If more people step forward to corroborate Armie's claims, Blake Lively's reputation could take a serious hit. While she may not face the same level of industry exile as Armie, her once impeccable image may never be the same again. However, if Armie is proven to be fabricating these claims, it could mark the final nail in the coffin of his already ruined career. One thing is certain, Hollywood loves a scandal, but it loves a comeback even more. Whether this moment serves as a reckoning for Blake Lively or a desperate grab for relevance from Armie Hammer, only time will tell. But one undeniable truth remains: the world of entertainment is built on illusions, and sometimes those illusions shatter in the most unexpected ways. Stay tuned, because this is one Hollywood story that is far from over.